How's everybody this morning? Woo! Everybody ready to get healthy? Yeah. Well, we're gonna want to thank the band, Half Step Down, who'll be playing for us this afternoon.
Woo!
Give them a hand. All right, today's event is the Mayor's Wellness program. It really should be called the Tatiana's Wellness Program because Tatiana's done all the work. So can we all give her a round of applause for all the tremendous... I mean, putting this together is not easy. This is the kickoff, even though we got rained out once or twice. But Tatiana's arranged restaurant week, gym use, the blood drive, a number of events that we have here, and sponsors and such. So we really appreciate all of your hard work. The Mayor's Wellness Program is actually a statewide program designed to get small towns like Park Ridge to get out and be healthier. And after 3 years of COVID, we all know that we need to get healthier. So today is a welcome addition to coming out of the pandemic and getting back and socializing and getting healthy. So I want to encourage everybody to look at the schedule of events. They're wonderful, and get healthy. So thank you all for being here. I want to thank our council president, Rob Metzdorf, for being here. Rob, would you like to say a word or two?
So here we are today, beautiful Veterans Park. It's springtime, so around us you see the growth, you see flowers coming up, beautiful green grass. Not only that, today Tatiana has brought us a step towards wellness, or continued wellness. A couple of months ago I was at a council meeting and Tatiana showed up with a multimedia display for this event and many events. And I don't know whether you've ever been to a council meeting or seen it on PKRG-TV, but they're not exciting. They're not electric. Tatiana brought electricity into that council meeting. All the councilmen and the mayor and me, we woke up. And she was so enthusiastic about this event. We got enthusiastic about this event, and we decided that give her full speed ahead. And that she went. She went full speed ahead. Tatiana immediately following the meeting set up a committee. The committee was a committee of one. Folks, she did all this. And to me, that's truly amazing, and it represents the people of Park Ridge and the volunteerism that we have in Park Ridge. So 2 days ago, I'm looking at Facebook. I had nothing to do, and I'm looking at Facebook, and one of the guys here today put up a question. What do you like about Park Ridge? Well, this is it, folks. This is about volunteerism. This is about friends, neighbors getting together. It's about new friendships, new beginnings, and hopefully new wellness. So for that, I'd once again like to give Tatiana a hand, and thank you for allowing us here.
Thanks, Rob. And last but not least, Congressman Gottheimer has been supporting us in a number of different ways. He has his staff here, and they presented us, Tatiana and the town, with a certificate from Congress encouraging us to continue to be healthy. So let's kick this off. I think the plan is...
Good morning, Park Ridge. I'm Chuck Caccioli. We're here today at Veterans Park to kick off the Mayor's Health Initiative. This was the delayed initiative, I should say, because of the rain the last couple of weekends. I'd like to introduce Marla Klein. Marla is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and master certified health education specialist, as well as partnership coordinator for the Bergen County Department of Health Services. So Marla, thank you very much for being with us, and thank you for agreeing to do the interview.
No problem. This is a beautiful sunny day today. We're so fortunate to have it.
In your role with the Bergen County Department of Health Services, what are some of the programs and initiatives that you're currently working on?
Well, we have this health partnership, and it's all over the county, all 70 towns, and Park Ridge has stepped up to be one of the mayor's wellness towns. So right now, today, we're celebrating the Mayor's Wellness Initiative in Park Ridge with some healthy food, healthy juices, walking, exercise, and music. And the point of this is to increase physical activity, improve what you eat, and really decrease stress while you walk and while you listen to the music. We have a lot of other programs going on. We have something called Get Fit in the Park, and in that program, we're running free exercise in 3 county parks so people can get out, have free access, meet other people. It limits isolation and it gets them moving, and it might make them healthier.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the county's Wellness Walking Weight Loss Challenge?
Yeah, so today is part of that Walking Weight Loss Challenge, and we've been doing this for 10 years. It was modeled on Nutley, New Jersey, a very successful program. And what we found was it got people out in all the towns. So we offer it every year. We start in November. We meet, we talk to the mayors, and we talk to wellness coordinators in the towns, and we get everybody motivated. And we usually plan 4 to 12 weeks of exciting things all through the spring when people can get back outside and the weather's warmer. And right now we have 12 towns participating. They're offering walks, they're offering weigh-ins, they have lectures by nutritionists, they have Tai Chi, yoga, dancing in the park. We have Bergenfield, they're doing line dancing, and they're doing concerts, and we have music here today. So we're hoping to continue this for another 10 years.
Does the county provide any assistance with monitoring participants' progress towards achieving their health goals?
Yes. So what we really ask everybody to do, and Park Ridge is going to do that for us too, is we ask them to look at how many people participate, do an evaluation of the people participating to see what they liked, what they need, did they come out for the programs, which program did they like best, and we count up how many people were involved, and then at the end we really evaluate it to see how we can improve it for the next year.
How did you first become involved with the Park Ridge initiative?
Well, I'm a long-term Pascack Valley resident. I grew up here in Hillsdale and came to Park Ridge to buy a bicycle back then. And I've always worked with the whole Pascack Valley area. Also, Park Ridge contracts with the Bergen County Department of Health Services, and they're one of the towns we offer health education and health promotion services to. So I've been doing this in Park Ridge about 6 years. We took a break during the pandemic, and then Tatiana agreed to be the coordinator this year for Mayor's Wellness, and we connected with each other, and we really worked together to put together this amazing program and series of events for the month of May. So I just wanted to bring up that this Mayor's Wellness program is throughout the whole state of New Jersey, and it's overseen by the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute, which is a small nonprofit, and they encourage every mayor to participate. And any of the wellness programs or the green programs that go on in your town, you enter them into an online documentation, and at the end of every year, this Health Quality Institute counts up all the points you've gotten over the year, and they award to a couple of towns the healthiest town of New Jersey or of Bergen County. And there's a big sign, and they give the mayor an award and some money. So it's really a great thing. There's towns from all over New Jersey participating, and of course Park Ridge's mayor is very invested in this program.
Oh, that's good to hear. Do you have any suggestions for our viewers, things that they can do in order to develop and maintain healthy eating habits?
Yeah, so it's so important to eat healthy, and now that everybody got used to takeout and picking up things, it's important for us to go really back into cooking and making our own food whenever we can. And so we found that most people in the United States don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, and that's certainly true in Bergen County. Like, you'll stop for some fast food, a burger or fries or something, and there's no fruit or vegetables involved. So we're encouraging people to do a little food journaling, like, what do you eat during the week? What does your family eat? Take a look at it, and then, like, when you realize, wow, I didn't have any fruit or I didn't have enough vegetables, to come up with a small goal that you can attain and make a little action plan for the week or the month. So an example would be, if you find your family's not eating enough fruit, make a little plan that every single Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday night after dinner, you will have some fresh fruit or cut up some fresh fruit and make a fruit salad, and make sure you go shopping and have some fresh fruit in the house and try to attain that goal. Another thing we don't eat enough of is vegetables. So we're encouraging people to plant gardens in their homes if they have a backyard, or to go to their local farmers market, or to pick out some fresh vegetables at their food store and go home and just steam it or eat it raw, and try to get more fruits and vegetables, which are really good for our health, and less sugar, less fatty foods, and less processed foods. So, but the idea is to take small little steps so that you can be successful with it. And then once you've done it, keep doing it. And the same is with exercise. Like today, we took a small walk together around the park, and not to just do it today, but to incorporate that into your lifestyle, like 4 times a week, making sure that you or your family take walks and do some physical activity.
Well, is there anything else you want to convey to our viewers about health and wellness programs in Bergen County?
Well, I think it's important to really come out and get involved with your community. We need to have all ages together, families, little children, seniors, and older adults. And we need to get people reminded that they have a community again, and that they can come out and just take a walk and meet people in the park. They can bicycle again. There's free programs going on all over Bergen County. As I said, we have free programs in the park. A lot of private physical activity providers are offering free classes if you just check on the internet. Walk with a friend. We had a walk here the other day, walk with a doctor, and people asked the doctor all kinds of questions while he was taking a walk with them. And we're trying to kick off a campaign called Bergen Walks, just to get everybody moving and very active again. So we're encouraging people to kind of come out, say hello to your neighbors, offer to take a walk with your dog, walk with somebody else that might have a dog, knock on people's doors and get people out walking and moving again, and really trying to eat healthy. But it really comes from the family and yourself. We can't, it's hard for us to make people do this. You have to want to really live a healthy lifestyle and then incorporate it in your life forever. And in that way, hopefully we'll decrease chronic diseases such as diabetes and heart disease and cancer. And we'll be able to manage our weight better, and we'll just feel better altogether, and we'll reach an optimum lifestyle. And so in Bergen County, we're going to be working with all the mayors to improve health in their local communities, and we really depend on everybody that lives and works in those communities.
So you mentioned before that there are a number of towns that are involved in this initiative, including Park Ridge, and you also mentioned that, just look online. Do you have any specific places people can go when you say online?
Oh, yes. So this community health partnership that oversees all these things is a nonprofit 501c3, and it's run through the Bergen County Department of Health Services. And we have a website which is very easy to remember, healthybergen.org. And you can find most things there. We do post on Facebook and social media, and people should really look at their own town website and check in with their own town board of health or health department to see what's going on. They could knock on doors of their yoga studios and their Tai Chi studios and see what they're offering and try to get more involved with that. Bergen County is full of resources. It's just sometimes they're the best kept secret, and we really have to share all the information with us. Part of this partnership is there are 7 hospitals and over 60 organizations that meet every few months, and they try to share resources and leverage their resources. So if I know I'm coming to the park and one of my partners knows that they're going to have fresh juice like at Beets, then we'd put it together and they'd bring their juice here, and we'd encourage the people that are here to try it. And it's a partnership. Then people might go back to that store in the future. And it's just a partnership trying to help each other live a healthier life in Bergen County.
So I noticed from some of the brochures that both Valley Hospital and Hackensack Hospital are involved in some of these programs.
Yes, so all 7 hospitals are very involved. Holy Name, 2 Medical Center, Englewood Medical Center, Ramapo Ridge, Bergen New Bridge over in Paramus. So we're all working together. What we do is this year, every 3 years, we're analyzing the health needs of Bergen County with a survey, a few surveys, and then when we see where the health needs really are, then we develop programs and we work together to help people out. I know you'll be talking maybe to the county mental health providers and coordinator, but we saw there was an issue maybe with isolation with senior citizens. So our partner, the Center for Alcohol and Drug Resources at Children's Aid and Family Services, they have now developed a calendar of all free virtual and in-person events for older seniors, and they're free and you can just go to them. We also are having a training to help people that work with senior citizens identify mental health issues, and we're going to hopefully have them learn about all the resources where they can send people. So there's a lot going on with mental health in Bergen County. There's committees looking at the needs and providers trying to fill in the gaps and help everybody that needs any type of health or wellness service.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the time you spent with me on this interview, and we'll see you walking around town, I guess.
Yes, I will be walking and marching. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey Maddie, can I get your toes or no thanks?
Step on the bands with both feet, equidistant, and hold on to a handle in each hand. Let's just warm up with a squat first. Then we're going to hold the bottom of the squat and do some bicep curls. Doors on the bus. Go open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. Doors on the bus. Go open and shut. All through town. All right, come back up a little higher. I'm like, come again. You gotta put your shoes on. Gonna do it. Right? Then we're gonna stretch. If we take one stretch, we're gonna take that. Okay, that's okay. Go ahead. I snatch up with my fingers as high as they can go. I then bend myself over, try to touch my toes. Stretch to the left, stretch to the right.
Our presentation today is about eating healthy on a budget, because we all know with these rising prices, eating healthy on a budget is just getting harder and harder. So I'm here to give all of you some tips and tricks on how to do that. So, it is a big misconception that eating healthy is always expensive. The healthier options are always more expensive, healthy food always costs more, etc. But this is simply not true. The reality is healthy options can be made to fit anyone's budget as long as you know what to look for. And that's what we're going to be going through today during this presentation. So we're going to be going over 6 tips for eating healthy on a budget. And the very first tip is to plan your recipes. If you plan out your recipes for the week, it makes it easier to buy ingredients that'll fit all of those recipes. So for example, if you don't plan your recipes and you do something new every single day, you're going to be buying different ingredients for all of those recipes, and that really does add up. Instead, buying a bunch of just a few ingredients and incorporating them in a bunch of different ways is a great way to really stretch your dollar and stretch those produce and whatnot that you're buying. For example, I don't know about you all, but it's happened to me so many times when I don't plan. A recipe calls for half a cabbage. What am I gonna do with the other half? If I don't plan my recipes, what ends up happening is I take that half a cabbage, I wrap it up, I put it in my fridge. Oh, I'm gonna use it soon. I just forget about it, and then I end up throwing it away. So planning recipes is also a great way to help reduce wasting money, because if I'm throwing away that half of a cabbage, it's just a waste of money and I bought it for no reason.
So will you plan multiple recipes or meal plans that contain cabbage then?
Yes, so usually what I do, I usually plan my 5-day week of all my recipes that I plan on doing that week. The weekend I allow myself to be a little bit more flexible. But what I'll do is, let's say I do want something with cabbage. I'll make sure there's at least 2 recipes or 2 days that include cabbage. That way, whatever I don't use on the first day, I can make sure I use on the next one. That way I get the most for my money. I try to use everything at least twice. So if I don't use it all the first time, I know I'm going to use it the next time. Having a shopping list when you go grocery shopping makes shopping easier, faster, and it prevents all of those impulse purchases. I don't know about you, but so many times I'm going with my grocery cart and I see a display and I'm like, that looks good, and I grab it and I throw it in my cart. And I do that almost every aisle, and by the end of my shopping trip, I have doubled the cost of my cart. Buying frozen or canned products. So we all know that the produce department, aside from the meat department, the produce department is probably the most expensive section. But by buying frozen or canned products, you prevent this because those products are already processed for you. You're no longer paying for that part that you'd normally throw away. So you're really saving your money. Not only that, they usually cost less. A bag of frozen vegetables is usually around $1, and that's enough for like 4 people. So you're really saving your money by buying frozen or canned products. Not only that, but a lot of people think fresh produce is healthier than frozen or canned, but actually some produce takes weeks to get to our shelves. So during that time, it's losing some of its nutrients, they're decomposing away. So by the time it gets to you, it's not as nutritious as when it first got picked off the plant. So the ShopRite app has dozens of coupons that you can load directly to your ShopRite card. You literally just go to the app, you click it, and it is now directly on your ShopRite card. So when you go shopping and you type in your Price Plus card information, it's directly applied. You don't have to clip out all these little coupons anymore and then wonder, is it expired? So name brands are more costly because you are paying for that name. A lot of people think name brands are better than store brands, but really, if you look at the label, most of the time they're exactly the same. These are literally the exact same product. They both are just long green brown rice for the ingredients. That's it, just rice. If I tell you the price of this one, anyone want to guess the price of this one? This is $179. Anyone want to guess how much this one was?
$2.59. $3.44.
You're closest. It's 4 and change. So although buying in bulk usually costs more up front, you end up paying less per unit price. So on here I put an example. So the example here is olive oil. We have a 16 fluid ounce bottle here and a 1 gallon container here. So this is 128 fluid ounces compared to 16 fluid ounces. Although the 16 fluid ounce is technically cheaper per item, $3.99 compared to $14.99, when you look at the unit price, this is 25 cents per fluid ounce, and this is 12 cents per fluid ounce.
I'm Howard Fredericks, and I'm here today with Dr. Christopher Mendler. Dr. Mendler serves as Medical Director of Holy Name Hospital's Sports Medicine and Fitness Departments. Over the course of his 25-year career, he has also been the U.S. Triathlon Team Physician for the 1999 Long Course Triathlon World Championships, and is the team physician for several Bergen County area high schools and colleges. Welcome to PKRG-TV. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here today with us to talk with us about the Park Ridge Mayor's Wellness Challenge, as well as other health and fitness programs available to Bergen County residents.
Well, thank you, and it's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Mandler. As Medical Director of Holy Name Hospital Sports Medicine and Fitness Departments, how are you involved in promoting the health and well-being of patients?
There's a couple of ways. One is just my day-to-day patient care hours. When I'm, in the office seeing a patient, whether it's a youth sport athlete or it's an adult or it's a senior, each patient encounter is kind of an opportunity for education and teaching folks not only about maybe the injury that brought them in, but about health and wellness in general. Especially my population, it's kind of nice that most folks are already trying to do things to kind of stay active and stay healthy. So a lot of times my role is to kind of help keep them there. But sometimes we get folks that kind of need a little nudge, a little bit of assistance in becoming more active. And so in one of my capacities, one of my roles is as the physician, I get to do that kind of on a day-to-day basis in the patient hours. Then in a more, administrative role, I work with many of our colleagues here at the hospital developing some of our multidisciplinary programs. And so we have programming that includes the medical side, myself and physician assistants and other folks, rehabilitation, including physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, nutrition with our registered dietitian team, as well as exercise and fitness with our personal trainers, group fitness instructors. And what we do is we develop different programs for sort of different purposes. Some of the programs involve, medical oversight of folks just trying to live a healthier lifestyle and working with a registered dietitian, working with a fitness professional. Some of those folks might need to take a detour into physical therapy before they get started on such a program. And so what we're trying to do is develop programs that help support folks wherever they're at, to try to help get them moving in the right direction, help support them to continue moving in the right direction, and kind of go from there. So part of it is those patient hours, part of it is working with the team to develop those programs.
Wow, I mean, that's amazing that you have both the individual level of support and encouragement for people to get fit, and also that you're in charge of this multidisciplinary, diverse set of sources for an entire community of patients that come to see people in the hospital involving a huge team. That's marvelous.
Yes, thank you. And I would say that I don't know that I'm in charge of all of that, but I certainly participate and help out and do my part. But thank you.
So in addition to the people who come to Holy Name Hospital for treatment with you directly or within some of the programs that you run there, I know that you're also an active member of the Community Health Improvement Partnership of Bergen County, or CHIP as it's known. Can you tell us a little bit about the CHIP program, and in particular, their Nutrition and Physical Activity Task Force? What sort of programs and initiatives are you working on with them, and how do these programs help to serve the health needs of Bergen County residents?
Sure. Very briefly, the CHIP, as we refer to it, is a partnership that includes the local hospitals in our area, as well as other interested stakeholders, whether it be business folks or the public in general. Really, the CHIP is available for anybody with an interest in helping with community health to kind of get involved. with the Physical Activity and Nutrition Task Force, one of the things that's been going on for many years, and I've been involved for the past several years, is the annual Mayor's Wellness Challenge. And when it first started, I think it was actually a weight loss challenge, when we tried to sort of really push the point that it's more about wellness than necessarily the numbers on the scale, and really making, you know, those healthy choices. And so that's one of the programs that I try each year to kind of contribute what I can. A lot of the towns have local sort of champions that are doing a lot of work, and anything that we can do as sort of the central, you know, function of the CHIP to support them is what we're trying to do there. Another one of the things that we're trying to sort of reinvigorate and sort of run with, or walk with maybe, is a Bergen Walks campaign. Really just encouraging folks to get out there and walk. And part of that came from, you know, since the pandemic over the last couple of years, really gave a challenge to those folks trying to do the wellness challenges. We kind of wanted to try to help simplify for folks. A lot of the challenges in the past have had a lot of great programming and presentations and lectures and trying to get folks together. And we realized, even still, but we're getting better. Sometimes those things can be difficult. So one of the things we want to do is just encourage walking wherever, whenever that folks can do that. And so we're trying to put together some programming and some support to do that. And some of the wellness challenges actually use walking as one of their main sort of foci or focuses that they're encouraging folks to do. And so the wellness challenges tend to run seasonally, like in the springtime. And then some of the Get Fit Bergen programming does extend through the summer and into the early fall. What our hope is with something as sort of, you know, centralized as walking, is that we can kind of focus on that throughout the year. And so maybe when the weather's getting kind of, you know, crummy out, we can walk in the malls. And when the weather's nice out, we can walk in the parks. And whether it's, you know, the Bergen County parks, or whether it's your local parks or your local neighborhoods, just encouraging folks to get out there and walk is kind of the focus of that one.
You mentioned about walking and being such a simple activity. I know I find that I try to take walks every day with my wife around my neighborhood, and I just take a walk around the block twice at least, and then sometimes down to the local park. And it's always a marvelous way to get some exercise without having to have any actual equipment to use. And I think that's one of the key things. You can walk just about anywhere without having any additional equipment. And that's one of the obstacles that some people, I think, have to becoming fit, is they think, well, I don't have any equipment to work out with, so how can I get fit? And suggesting that they go for a walk is always a good one. I do happen to have an exercise bike, by the way, that we picked up for the winter time when it does get too cold to walk in our neighborhood. So that's an extra little bonus that I have. So you also mentioned about the wellness challenges, and that you've been involved with a number of wellness challenges. What interested you in particular in becoming involved with the Park Ridge Mayor's Wellness Challenge, and what activities of that program are you leading?
Basically, as I mentioned earlier, I'm happy to help with any of the programs that are seeking assistance that I can provide. But one of the things that I've enjoyed doing over the years with several different towns is when they do offer a walk, a lot of the towns will offer like a walk with an elected official, like the mayor or one of the council folks, but a walk with a doc. And so I always say, hey, look, if anybody's looking to do a walk with the doc, I'm happy to come out, you know, invite me, give me a date and a time, and I'll come. And I can come with sort of a prepackaged presentation, or I can just kind of field questions that folks may have to the best of my ability. And so Ms. Tatiana, she's been doing a whole lot of great work and putting together a lot of programming. And so, you know, when I mentioned that, she thought that was a great idea. So we got that going. And last week we did the Walk with the Doc over at Park Ridge. And I found a little corner of Park Ridge that I was not familiar with, even though I've been a Bergen County resident for over 50 years. I was like, hey, this is great, you know? So we had a very nice time. The weather was very cooperative, so it was a good walk.
Do you have any advice for those of us who've been living a sedentary lifestyle and who are just getting started on the road to fitness?
I think probably one of the easiest and best bits of advice I can give is literally just start with a couple of steps. Just get it going. And there's two reasons for that. Number one is to develop a habit. It's much easier to do it gradually. If you try to make drastic changes, while you may be able to sustain them for a period of time, it can usually be overwhelming and folks tend to kind of give up. Another is by gradually increasing your activities, you're much less likely going to kind of overdo it and hurt yourself. But probably one of the things, if you look at it from a public health perspective, is the literature is out there, the evidence is there, that going from sedentary to at least doing something actually provides dramatic health improvements and decrease in all-cause mortality. But it improves your health and your longevity just by going from not doing anything to at least doing something. And then you can build on that something. Build it up over time. If it's a 10-minute walk every day, bring it up to a 15-minute walk every day. Nice casual pace is fine. Get up to a 30-minute walk a day. Okay, now maybe you want to pick up the pace a little bit. And every time you make those adjustments, there might be a slightly different goal. So for general health, like I said, just doing it can be hugely beneficial. If you want to get more fit or you're trying to help maintain weight, then getting a little bit more oomph in your step and kind of getting the heart rate up a little bit may be appropriate. But again, that needs to be individualized. Everybody comes from a different place and has a different medical background. And obviously we want to make sure folks are doing things safely. So most folks can safely get out and walk at a comfortable pace. Anything beyond that, if you have any questions, even at that level, if you have any questions, certainly check in with your doc. But as far as like how to get started, it's really just get started. If you're feeling overwhelmed by, I can't do an hour a day, there's no way. We'll do 5 minutes a day. Then build that up to 10 minutes a day and build that up to 15 minutes a day. And take your time. If you're not training for an event, you've got all the time in the world to build gradually and build that habit. And so it's really just get out there and get started. And don't be upset if you miss a day here and there. Like be patient with yourself as you kind of get into the routine. But really, it's just kind of get it going.
So what's the optimal frequency of doing exercise? Should I be exercising every day or every other day or 5 times a week? Or what's the right amount?
That's a great question. And I'd have to put it back on you. What's your goal? Is your goal just to kind of get a bit healthier than you are right now? Then we know that going from 0 to something can actually make a huge difference. If you want to kind of hit that sweet spot where you're kind of putting in a little bit more time and you want to kind of get the best bang for your buck as far as health improvements go, that's where we follow the the national guidelines that tell us to shoot for about 30 minutes a day, about 5 days a week, right? And that gives us about 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity activity. You can actually decrease the time requirement if you increase to a vigorous level of activity. So you can kind of get more credit, if you will, if you go at a slightly tougher pace. And to get an idea of light versus moderate versus vigorous, we can use a couple of easy ideas. One is what we nickname the talk test. If you can go for your walk and hold a conversation like we are right now and not really miss a beat and not lose your breath, you're probably in the light category. If, on the other hand, you can kind of keep a conversation going, but you need to pause every moment or two to catch that deeper breath, you're probably in the moderate zone. If you can barely get a word out at a time, or just don't talk to me now, I'm too busy, then you're probably in the vigorous category, okay? And the idea is we're shooting for that moderate category, but if you're starting out, I'll take light. If you really want to push it a little more, you can do that vigorous. Is more than 30 minutes, 5 days a week, have additional benefit? Yes, it does. And you get more benefit probably up to about an hour and a half a day, 7 days a week. You'll still get more benefit beyond that, but you're probably going to start hitting a cost-benefit mix that most folks don't want to go beyond that. To get folks doing an hour and a half a day is asking a lot. To get folks to do half an hour a day, hopefully isn't asking for too much. An hour, I think, would be that sweet spot most days of the week, if you can do it. But at least shoot for that 30 minutes over time. But if you're not there yet, do what you can. If it's 15 minutes every other day, we'll start there. But there are sort of certain levels. But again, to kind of flip the question back, what is the goal? Is the goal to lose or maintain weight? Is the goal to increase my fitness level? Is the goal to just try not to have a heart attack? Or I already had one, I don't want another one. And so you can kind of gauge the level of activity and intensity based on what those goals are. And like anything else, there is overdoing it. And so one of the things we always encourage folks is to not overdo it. Whether it's a relative overdoing it that they just weren't ready for that yet, or it was an absolute overdoing it. Like very few humans can tolerate running 70 miles a week, but there are several that do that. And so there's definitely upper limits of what we probably ought to do. But I think most folks are in that getting started, getting into that 30 minutes most days of the week category. And that's really our big sort of public health push on the physical activity side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I know that at my age right now, probably running, jogging is maybe not the best choice of exercise. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on older people jogging. I've heard some things that it can be a little hard on the knees and other joints, and that it's maybe not the best choice.
I think this is one of those, it depends on where you're coming from. I'm in the camp that still believes running per se does not cause arthritis in the joints. However, I am in the camp that also says if you already have some arthritis in your joints, or for whatever reason we feel you're probably going to get some arthritis in your joints, maybe family history or prior trauma, then some of the higher impact activities might not be the ideal as your main focus of activity. So if you already have arthritis in your knees or hips, running 30 miles, 35 miles a week is going to be a lot. But if you're an avid runner and you're like, Doc, can I at least run 3 miles a couple days a week? So if you can do that comfortably and your joints are kind of cooperating with you, then yeah, I'm going to let you do that, because that's an important lifestyle choice for that individual. If, on the other hand, you're just like, I just want to do something, what should I do? If running's not on the gotta do it list and you have arthritis in your joints, pick something else. Ride the bicycle, get an elliptical, go for a swim. I mean, there's lots of options, lots of opportunity there. And so it's a balancing act. If somebody is an avid, they love to run, I'm going to work with them to try to help them. But sometimes we do have to, modify or kind of negotiate, how much running is going to be a good amount. But if that particular activity is not your thing, come up with something else. And other joints, we can talk about other things. If you got shoulder problems, maybe swimming is going to be a little bit tougher, but the bicycle might be easier or walking might be easier. So it really, again, depends on where you're at and what's going on, but there's usually something we can find.
What about weather conditions? I know we're now into the prime time of year for good, comfortable weather to be exercising outdoors without too many impediments. But I know that, for example, in the wintertime, doing exercise can be a little tough, and in the heat of the middle of the summer, it can also be tough. What are your thoughts on and recommendations for people in terms of doing vigorous exercise outside, either in very cold weather or in very hot weather?
It can be done, and it can be done safely, but it needs to be an important piece of the training puzzle, so to speak. You need to prepare yourself to be able to exercise in general in those conditions, and certainly vigorously in those conditions. The heat of summertime, especially in this part of the country, is high humidity. And the interesting thing is, if we want to talk sweat, when your body sweats, that does not cool you off. It's when the sweat evaporates off your skin that you actually cool off. If the humidity level is very high, the air kind of doesn't want to absorb or let your sweat evaporate too effectively. So we lose a lot of that efficiency of sweat in the high humidity that we tend to live in here. Arizona, they're dry. You'll tend to evaporate that sweat relatively quickly, and you might not even notice you were sweating. So acclimation or acclimatization, whichever way you like to say that phrase, is an important piece of the puzzle. And it generally takes several weeks to really become acclimated to those environmental conditions. The other thing is, depending on your background medical situation, you may be just at increased risk. If you have underlying pulmonary disease, lung disease, or you have underlying cardiac or heart disease, pushing those limits is probably not going to be a great idea. If you're a novice exerciser, probably not going to be a great idea. But it can be done safely if approached correctly. Clothing is huge. You need clothing that's going to allow the sweat to get off of your skin and to evaporate, both in the wintertime and in the summertime. And folks don't realize in the wintertime you can actually get dehydrated. We think about the sweat in the summertime, but what happens in the wintertime is the air actually is dry, and you lose a lot of moisture in the air as you exhale. We always kind of like, oh, look at the fog I'm breathing out. That's body moisture going out of your body. And so running or exercising outside at that time of year with like a scarf or a bandana over your mouth to try to trap some of that moisture is actually not a bad idea. So you can get dehydrated when it's very hot out. Most folks think of that. You can get dehydrated when it's very cold out. Either extreme needs preparation, needs proper clothing, And if you're somebody who's got a little bit more on the risk profile, might just be better off avoided and just keep it indoors where you can control the climate. Walk in the mall, walk in your house, get the exercise bike in the basement, whatever you can do to keep it safe. I would rather see folks doing something not as fun and not as exciting, but safe, than have them pushing it outside and run into a problem.
I love cranking up the AC in my house in the summertime and sitting on my exercise bike with my phone, watching a baseball game on the phone while I exercise. That's the ultimate.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
So how can Park Ridge residents take advantage of the programs that are offered by CHIP or at Holy Name in order to enhance their health and well-being?
Well, I think first and foremost, if they're not already familiar with it, Park Ridge residents can just hop on to the Park Ridge Wellness site that Tatiana and the folks over at Park Ridge have been putting together. They've got a lot of great stuff. They're really trying to interact with the community and kind of make it fun as well as healthy. And so they've got a website, I believe it's mayorswellnessparkridge.com. Definitely worth checking out there if you haven't already done so. The Bergen County's CHIP has a site, that's healthybergen.org. And they include information, including like the fitness in the park. They try to do like yoga classes or Tai Chi classes in the parks, and they often have local either hospitals or fitness centers kind of sponsoring those staffers. So to the participant, it's free. And so those are great opportunities. H&H Fitness, we're located over in Oradell. You want to check out our website, it's hnhfitness.com. But basically, we have several different things going on. I have my office, actually my practice is in the building. We have physical therapy on site here. And then we have a fitness center, which anybody can join. You don't have to necessarily be part of my practice or part of physical therapy to join the fitness center. So it's a regular commercial fitness center, but it's not a regular one in the sense that it is owned and operated by a hospital. It is designed specifically to help support the programs that we mentioned earlier in the conversation. And but still, you can just join and use the equipment and then go on your merry way if that's your choice. But if you want to get involved in those programs, they're not limited to immediate neighborhood. Like you got to drive over and come on in. So from Park Ridge to here, it's not that far. But those are some things that I would definitely say, folks in Park Ridge can definitely take advantage of. And I'm sure there are other, programs and other facilities that I haven't mentioned that might even be, a little bit closer. But the idea, again, is find something that fits you, fits your family, try to make a group effort out of it, and just, go out and do it.
And so are there any other online resources that you could recommend that would help Park Ridgers to begin the process of getting fit? So something that they could read on a website or videos or anything else that you would have any recommendations for us to check out?
I think those that I just kind of rattled off, those would be my starting point. But, the internet is chock full of advice. The key is trying to sift through it and figure out what is sensible advice and what's perhaps not so sensible advice. So one of the other kind of go-to resources can always be like, what are your taxpayers, or your tax dollars rather, paying for? And so the CDC's website, the NIH's website, and they have sort of subsidiary Department of Health and Human Services. That's actually who comes up with the activity guidelines for Americans and Healthy America kind of recommendations. And so all of these resources are there. They're free. I mean, okay, you've already paid for them in your tax dollars, so there's no extra fee. And there's a lot of excellent information in those resources. Sometimes a little bit thicker reading, so you might spend a few minutes going through it. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has some great tools for like nutrition and trying to figure out like how to eat healthier. But there's a lot out there. But I would say the easiest way to kind of auto vet it, is it coming from, again, a government source? Does the website end in .gov? Is it coming from a recognized national source, the Mayo Clinic? Is it coming from a local recognized source? Holy Name Hospital, Valley Hospital, Hackensack Hospital. We know these programs, we know these people, we know they're going to put out information in good faith. If they're trying to sell you something, chances are they're trying to sell you something. Whether it's something useful or not, you have to kind of figure out. But I think there are probably more than enough resources out there which can make it overwhelming. And the key is sometimes not to get caught up in the ones that sound too good to be true. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. That kind of thing. And that's, goes back to our common sense kind of approach.
Terrific. Well, I wanted to thank you so much again, Dr. Mendler, for being here today with us on PKRG-TV. It's been a pleasure to meet you and a pleasure to hear all of the wonderful and interesting things that you're involved with in helping people in our communities to become fit and well. So thank you again, Dr. Mendler.
Very welcome. Thank you again for having me.
Hi, my name is Tatiana, and I have been a lead organizer for the 2022 Mayor's Wellness Campaign. I first learned about Mayor's Wellness Challenges through my local Board of Health, of which I'm a member. The Mayor's Wellness Challenge is a health initiative that offers free diet and exercise programs to the community. We had taken a pause with this kind of programming during the pandemic, and I thought it was time to revive the program, especially since we've all been isolated during the pandemic and more sedentary, and it was time to get out there as a community, strengthen our community bonds, and do something well for our health in the process. I'm really proud to say that with the support of the Bergen County Department of Health Services, we've put together 15 different programs over 3 weeks in May. They range from a restaurant week, which asks residents to choose healthier plates than they might typically choose, as well as free fitness classes for all ages and activity levels, as well as diet planning classes, a blood drive, and nutrition education courses. The best thing that we can do to improve our health is generally just to sit less and improve our diets. Most Americans don't get the recommended weekly amount of exercise, which is 30 minutes of moderate exercise 5 days a week. As well, there's a misconception that you have to spend a lot of money to get your nutrients in. Something that's really nice is that Get Fit Bergen, a program offered by the Bergen County Department of Health Services, offers free fitness classes throughout the year, usually in week-long series. As well, our program through Mayor's Wellness Park Ridge offers free meal planning and nutrition education classes. If anyone had interest in our programs but was unable to attend over the last 3 weeks, I have some good news. I personally would like to see the Mayor's Wellness Health Initiative expanded over 1 year. That way we can allow more time for advertising and greater attendance. I'd also like to treat this past Mayor's Wellness campaign as a proof of concept to see which activities really were popular. And maybe next year, instead of approaching it from a standpoint of I can help, I'd like to do a survey to see what are our most urgent health concerns and approach Mayor's Wellness in the future from a standpoint of how can I help you. I really hope that people come out of this with even better ideas on how to lead healthier lives and also stronger ties to this awesome community that is Park Ridge.